Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Buckbeak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with another character review. And this character review will be on Gold Mythic Lieutenant Connor. Now, I know I missed one character review on that guy named Steel, but I gotta be honest with you, I just didn't feel like doing that one because, yet again, he was another defensive bodyguard toon, and I just didn't want to, and I hope you guys are okay with that. But anyway, it seems like we have a somewhat of a more of an attacking toon with Lieutenant Connor, but we will definitely get into it to find out. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing alright, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump into this character review, shall we? Lieutenant Connor, Saviors. His trait is alert, his role is control, and his allegiance is a member of the Saviors. Now let's take a look at his stats. His attack stat is 39,499. His defense is 21,943. And his HP is 26,332. Now let's take a look at his adrenaline rush. London Calling. By the way, who wants to go to London? Nah, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just playing with y'all. I don't think London is a bad place to visit. Now, living there, I don't know. I am what you would consider a foreigner, when it comes to London, but I think visiting London wouldn't be a bad experience. In fact, one of the games that I like that a bunch of people hate is located in London, but that's besides the point. Okay, London Calling. The recharge rate is 66 AP, so that's pretty much the standard for most gold mythics. Deal 1000% damage to an enemy. Deal 5% of this fighter's attack as bleed damage to one other enemy for 3 turns. Plus 5% bleed damage for each other Savior's Allegiance teammate. Now, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Unlike the last character that I missed out on, Steel, Lieutenant Connor is going to be doing some really nice damage. 1000% damage to one enemy. Plus, he's going to be dealing 5% of his attack stat as bleed damage to one other enemy for 3 turns. And if you have him, in fact, I should say he is going to be an attacking leader, but if you have a Savior's attack team surrounding Lieutenant Connor, plus another 5% of bleed damage for each other Savior's Allegiance teammates. And you know how we're getting those really tough road maps that, you have to use infection, you might have to use bleed. Honestly, Lieutenant Connor, he wouldn't be a bad idea for a really tough road map, to be honest with you. So right now, I'm not seeing any problems with Lieutenant Connor. He's already dealing a very nice amount of damage with 1000% of damage. Plus, he's doing straight off the bat, he is dealing 5% of his attack as bleed damage plus potentially another 5% on top of that, and he's already got over 39,000 attack without mods, without a, that doesn't account for the weapon, all that good stuff. So that potentially, if you're coming up against a really difficult roadmap, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, he would not be a bad tune at all. I actually quite like it. He's doing a nice amount of damage, plus he's got that bleed in there, and that bleed damage could go up very significantly depending on how high his attack stat is. So, yeah, not a bad tune. I feel like we'll talk about it when we get to the leader skill, but overall, not a bad adrenaline rush at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at his signature move, Stiff Upper Lip. The initial cooldown is turn 1. 1 turn for the cooldown, number of uses unlimited. This fighter gets 100% stun resistance for 2 turns. Attack a line of enemies for 500% damage plus 500% damage if the primary target has bleed each. Okay, so Connor's gonna get stun resistance, 100% stun resistance for 2 turns, which, hey, it's not a bad thing to have at all. It's better to have it, and then, it's better to have that stun resistance and not need it than need it and not have it. So, there you go. Plus, he's going to be doing 500% damage against a line of enemies. Not bad at all. Plus, potentially another 500% damage if the primary target is bleeding, which that might not happen your first go around, but say if you've already used his adrenaline rush and then his signature move afterward, there you go. That's another 1,000% damage potentially, and that is really nice. So far, I'm not seeing a problem with this tune, but I don't know. We'll see as we dig deeper. So far, the adrenaline rush is pretty good, and the signature move is pretty good. I like both of them. Now, let's take a look at his mythic abilities. Precision. Enemy resistance are 40% lower against this fighter. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about this one. Go ahead and level up Precision. You're going to get the most use out of him as you would any other control tune character. So, yeah, Precision, go ahead and level it up for sure. Adjacent injury. When attacking a target with bleed, one other enemy gets 10% of this fighter's attack as bleed damage for 2 turns. Again, this is simple, straightforward, to the point. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time talking about this one. Adjacent injury is 100% worth leveling up, especially since he's dishing out bleed with his signature move and his adrenaline rush, so you might as well go ahead and level that one up. That way you can bleed down the enemies even quicker, potentially, so that's going to be really nice if you pull for this tune. Absolutely, I would do it. Coated Rid. At the start of each wave, deal 5,000% of this fighter's team's total attack as bleed damage, plus 5,000% bleed damage for each other Savior's Allegiance teammate to 2 enemies for 2 turns. Holy cow! Oh man, the potential for that. Ooh, like you could just imagine. And again, I would go ahead and level that one up 100%. Absolutely. You would be insane not to do that. Although the only negative, well, it's a potential negative, but it might be a little overpowered if it was each turn. It says at the start of each wave to deal 5,000% of this fighter's team's total attack as bleed damage. So that's the only negative side, is it isn't every turn, but that's not like a real bad positive, as weird as that sounds, because like depending on how high Connor's attack stat is, and depending on how high the fighter's team's total attack is altogether, that's a lot of bleed you're going to be dishing out, and that potentially could maybe have, with all that bleed going on, you potentially could be seeing a comeback for Gold Mythic Jackie lead teams all of a sudden because of Lieutenant Connor. So Coated Red is going to be really good. It might be the best one so far. Bloody Confusion. At the start of each turn, if any enemy has bleed, 70% chance a random enemy gets confused for 1 turn, plus 1 turn for each other enemy with bleed. Okay, so you potentially could be confusing 2 enemies for 2 turns. Okay, if they have bleed on them, right? A 70% chance, though, 70% chance is very high, and it's very likely to happen, but I don't think I like that one just because it's not 100% guaranteed to happen, but it is a very high likely chance of the confuse happening for potentially a turn or 2. So Bloody Confusion, it's not bad, but I think it's definitely the weakest one, because only because it doesn't have the 100% guarantee. So, but overall, I think all of his mythic abilities are worth upgrading to some degree. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at his leader skill. As you can see, he has an attacking leader skill. All Savior's Allegiance teammates get 50% attack. All other teammates get 40% attack instead. 3 random enemies get minus 40% defense for 1 turn. So, it seems like they definitely want you to build him mostly around the Savior's Allegiance. So you have Lieutenant Connor, you have the Wolfman Dwight. Let's see, they've added a couple. Lieutenant Connor, Wolfman Dwight. You have Negan, although he's a leader, but he could fit in there for sure. He does a good amount of damage. Who else is Saviors? I think the other Connor, the strong Connor, but I'm not really sure. I would have to look through the list of all the Saviors, but Lieutenant Connor, Negan, Wolfman Dwight, maybe the other Dwight, maybe Strong Connor. That's just kind of an idea. But, still, even if you don't have mostly Savior teammates, he's still going to be giving out 40% attack, which is still going to be pretty good, honestly. And then 3 random enemies will get minus 40% defense for 1 turn. I don't know. Is that minus 40% defense for 1 turn really going to make that much of a difference? Only for 1 turn? I'm kind of iffy on that last part, but it's not a bad leader skill by all means. So, honestly, if you need an updated attack leader and you haven't pulled for a leader in quite some time, Lieutenant Connor honestly wouldn't be a bad pick, because he's doing a great amount of damage. He's dishing out bleed left, right, and center. So, plus he's got a pretty good leader skill. So, if you need an attack leader skill, if you need an updated attack leader, Lieutenant Connor, you aren't going to go wrong, honestly, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at his weapon. Lieutenant Connor's dual SMGs. It has 40% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, improved bonus HP plus AP. All teammates receive 10% AP and plus 25% bonus HP at the start of each wave. Improved 1535. Give 25% attack and 35 crit to this fighter and all adjacent teammates. Okay, so first I gotta comment on the look of the weapon, how it's got the UK flag on the sides, on both sides, and it's got the bullet sticking up at top, almost forming sort of like a mohawk, which is kind of, that's kind of interesting. So 40% attack, that's pretty good. A huge bonus to AP when attacking, yep, that's pretty good. Improved bonus HP plus AP. You know, you can't craft the improved bonus HP and AP, so if you were planning on making that type of weapon for someone like Connor, well, now you don't have to, because it's on his base weapon, and in fact it's the improved version, and the weapon only gets better because if you were planning on making him a 1535 weapon in the 4th slot, you don't have to do that, because in fact he has the improved 1535, which is really nice because you're gonna give 25 attack and 35 crit. So there you go. Realistically, the only thing to do with this weapon is to try to go for 55% attack. That way you can get that attack stat higher with the weapon mods, and certain team and other, on the team you have other weapons that potentially will give out 1535, maybe a improved 1535, who knows, depending on how your setup is. So 1535, 55% attack on his weapon, and then go all in on the attack on his mods, and whatever type of team you build, whatever type of attack team you build around Connor, potentially there could be a couple of 1535s that, only help increase that attack stat. And then you never know, you might have an improved 1535. I don't know, depending on your roster personally. So yeah, I'm really loving the get up. And I like the 2 SMGs with the UK flag there. Now, the game that I was referring to that a lot of people just did not like, but I personally liked, was Watch Dogs Legion. That's the game I was referring to. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that game, and I don't know why. It's personally my favorite Watch Dogs game. Although, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see Watch Dogs ever again. But hey, I still like to play Watch Dogs Legion from time to time. I have beaten it, and I just, the fact that you can pretty much be any NPC on the street, I don't know, something about that. I like that idea. But I kind of get the complaint that, people don't feel like they don't feel like Watch Dogs is consistent throughout all three games, which I do get that complaint, which that is Ubisoft's fault. That is on them for sure. I'm not gonna deny that Legion, like, there are problems with it. Sure, because of the of all three Watch Dogs games not being consistent throughout the trilogy. That is a major problem, but I still love Legion. Watch Dogs Legion, it's still my favorite. The other two I just didn't enjoy as much as I did Legion. And yeah, I do love the artwork there on the left hand side with the UK flags on the side and the bullets you have sticking up that kind of make it look like a Molotov. I mean a Mohawk, which is kind of unique. And what are your thoughts on them? What are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Lieutenant Connor? I like the look, and his look it's his look that he's got going on with the UK face mask and all that. It kind of looks like something that might come out of Watch Dogs Legion. In fact, when I saw this character, oh buddy, I was thinking of Watch Dogs Legion the whole time. Like, no, I really do enjoy that game, even though a lot of people hate that game. Or whatever. I mean, hey, we don't have to all agree on the same things, right? But, yeah, what are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Lieutenant Connor? And are you going to be pulling for him, as he is a premium tune right now? And this coming up Wednesday, I think it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday, I am going to go ahead and do another rating with me video, just because why not? I'm not really going to talk about anything Pacific. I'm just going to talk maybe a little WWE, maybe a little AEW, but I'll save that discussion for rating with me. And I believe it's going to be Wednesday. I'm releasing the first part of the Batman Arkham City Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC. That, I believe, is coming Wednesday, although I could push it back. But that part, the first part, in fact, the second part, both parts of that DLC have already been recorded, and I have them already uploaded as premieres. The first part, I believe, is definitely coming Wednesday, although the second part, I'm not sure when I'm going to post that, but that's a discussion for another time. But what do you think about Lieutenant Connor? Do you think he looks really cool? Do you maybe not like his look? And do you think he's really good? Or do you think he's maybe not as good as he could have been? And, if you have any other thoughts on Walking Dead, Road to Survival in general, or anything else in general, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support, or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Buckbeak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest Until next time, bye guys.